So looks like this KVK is a wrap. Yeah, 1093 is out of Kingsland. 1188 is all the way back here now. So yeah, it looks like this KVK is all but done. Unfortunately, I won. I like losing because you get more kill points that way usually. But yeah, we won. And this KVK was definitely strange. I'd say it was a lot more boring and slow than most KVKs I played. But yeah, that's why I was not able to hit my KP goal. I think my KP goal initially was 2 billion, and I got to 1.5 billion this KVK, which is, it's not bad, but nothing near what I was expecting for a KVK of this size. I mean, even now, you can look at this. Five of the kingdoms have not dropped imp, which is pretty crazy to see. Only 1188 has dropped imp out of the other kingdoms, which is insane. You can see here 2049, 1960, 1818, 1846, and 1093 all have not dropped imp. Only 1188. So there has been very limited amount of fighting, to say the least. But yeah, I wanted to describe how this KVK has been going for me, as well as for all the other kingdoms in this KVK. I have all the data, so without further ado, let's just jump into it. Let's start with the camps. So you can see the camps. I'm in win camp. I'm in 1818. You can see the amount of kill points gained. Not bad. 262 billion. Water and Greenwood. Unfortunately, these guys are the G4s of this KVK, sort of the spectators, unfortunately. Fire, which is 1093, gained about 320 billion kill points. Earth, which is 1960 and 2049, gained 380 billion. And Daybreak, which is 1188, and their campmates, not even sure who the campmates are, sorry, gained 238 billion. So this is more or less what you expected, right? The Super Camp, 2049, 1960, gained the most, then 1093, then Wind Camp, then Daybreak. If you want to see like the governors based on like who get the most deaths, obviously Makote is first. No surprise. I think the Makote always, every KVK he's in, he drops a crazy amount of power. So you can see 28 million T5 deaths. Yeah, that sounds like Makote. Then the rest are basically from 1960 and 2489. You can also see here 1960, 2489. This is our Arvix account, Warthog, also. Yeah, more or less what you expect from the deads. If you want to look at a kingdom breakdown, like by kingdom, so you can see Wind is where I'm at in 1818. So us in 1818 gained 109 billion kill points, 106 by 1846, and then our campmates, you know, did a little less, but they were there supporting us, cheering us on along the way. Water and Greenwood, you know, they were there. Fire 1093, pretty good for 319, 320 billion. Yeah. Oh, they're one alliance. That makes sense. So it's the same status up here. So you can see by 1960 and 2049 were almost even. 2049 did pick up a little more, looks like. Daybreak, I can see why Daybreak was a little mad with their campmates, of course, but yeah, 1188 did pull a lot of weight in their camp. They did more KP than us, so I mean, yeah, 1188 has reason to be mad at this KVK result, but what's done is done. They didn't want to fight us, and I guess made this KVK a little more boring. So you can see also by the highest kill points, this KVK, kill point gain, Captain Jack in 1093, Ahmad, Joker Migrate from 1365, Osno, everyone knows Osno, Angry Lay, Legend Diff, Prodigy, I think Prodigy is a new account in 1960, that's Goose, it's my boy, and Al Haitam. You just want to see it by camps, more or less we saw this, I guess you can just see the deads. Earth took not the highest deads, Daybreak took the highest deads, really? Yes, Daybreak took the highest deads according to this. Then it goes Wind and Earth. Okay, well that's interesting, but I didn't realize Daybreak took the highest deads, but I guess that explains why 1188 dropped imp. Maybe you can see a bunch of other colorful data which I'm not really interested in. We already saw this more or less. Oh, you want to see by individual kingdoms? Yeah, 1188 did take a crazy amount of deads, actually, more than 1960s. You can see 1188 took 417 million deads. That's crazy high. Scroll down to Earth, 413 million. Okay, 2489 also took a crazy amount. Same with 1093. So these are pretty high dead numbers, as you'd expect from like the best imp kingdoms in the game. So crazy amount of deads. Then we scroll down to, let's go down. I'm sorry, Greenwood and Water. I'm gonna have to ignore you guys. Wind Camp, of course, not too bad. I mean, we're nowhere near these guys quality wise, but troops wise as well. 1818, 280 million? Yeah, 280 million. 1846 did outdo us a bit because of Makote, I assume. Then our campaigns as well. Yeah, that's how it looks like, I guess. You can scroll down to sort of the individual stats. How they did this all looks pretty nice. So you can see, this is more or less what I showed you in the top 10. It'll take a while to find me, so I just did that on a different screen. So you can see I'm at, where am I? 213. So I'm 213th overall in this KVK, which is not bad, considering how many people are in this KVK. I would say 213 is not that shabby. So you can see, basically all T5 kills as well. This was a pretty, I spent most of my time fighting 1188, and they fielded full T5 for the most part. So you can see I basically got all T5 kills in this KVK. But not many kills overall, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how it looks for this KVK. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but like it felt a little boring. I think most people can agree with that sentiment as well. But if you're curious about my individual stats, I always record this like every KVK as well. So you can see how I looked before KVK and how I looked after KVK. So as you notice, T5 kills went up a lot. T4 kills barely went up. So you can see T5 kills, I gained about 71 million. T4 about 6 million. So that brings me to about 77 million kills. And KP gain almost 1.5 billion. So not bad. I mean, obviously I expected more, but take what you can get. Going down to this is sort of like my flexing things, okay? Just I wanted to flex. You can see, at one point I was ahead of Osno. Take that. He did finish ahead of me still at the end. But you know, this is during Pass 7. Obviously there are limits to what free-to-play can do, but if you rank in the top 100 as free-to-play in KVKs like this, I'd say it's pretty decent. So yeah, not bad. 852 million KP, and I think this is enemy elimination is 3 days or 2.5 days. I forget how long it lasts, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. Yeah, that's just a flex, sorry. Going down to like kills by commanders, Nevsky Joan has still performed very well for me. When I say very well, I mean quite, it stood the test of time. It's done very well for me over time. So you can see, I shouldn't have went to the next page, but you can see Nevsky Joan did a decent amount of work. If you wonder where I get this number from, you subtract the kills after minus the kills before, and then you multiply it by 2. That's because the kills are split between the primary and the secondary equally. So this is half of the kills I got on the march, if that makes sense. So you subtract the kills after minus kills before, then multiply by 2. So Nev Joan did 22.21 million kills this KVK. Pretty good amount, considering I only did like 75 million kills this KVK. Scipio has still been doing very good work. Scipio Luce. For reference, also, all my commanders are max in expertise that I used. All my commanders are max in expertise. So you don't have to ask about that or wonder. Scipio Luce. You can see the before and after kills. When I got 21.128 million kills. I'm a little surprised that Nev Joan outperformed Scipio Luce. But maybe I'll explain a little bit later why I thought why this happened. So Huo William, I recently expertise William in my last video as well. So Huo William, it's just there. It's not the best march, obviously, but it's a good 4th march in my opinion. Probably the best 4th march in my opinion. So you can see before and after. Got to about 15 million kills, 14.7 million kills. And then Zook Herman. You know, a lot of people say this is the best march in the game, and I'm not sure I agree with that sentiment. You can see the before and after kills. If you do the math on that, that brings me to 17.977 million kills. I was a little surprised because my Zook Herman, I recently upgraded the gear as well as the armament, so this should technically be my highest killing march, assuming Zook Herman is the best commander, but you know, it is what it is. So you can see now, adding up all the kills here, you can see the total kills from the 4 marches were at 76 million kills, which is not bad. And since I got 77 million kills, assume the rest came from like rallies and garrisons. If you're curious what my resources were, I spent a lot in Pass 7. Pass 7 is where I got most of my kill points this KVK. As you can see, 14.4 billion spent in Pass 7, about 6 billion spent in Kingsland. So I spent about 20.5 billion mixed resources in this KVK. As I mentioned, I opened my whole bag for this KVK. I thought we were going to go all out, but it went a little short. We fell a little short this KVK. And so if you're curious about like a ratio, probably 6 bill food, 5 bill wood, 5 bill stone, and like 4.5 bill gold. I was running mixed troops, but I still ran mostly T5 in my marches as KVK. Yeah, that's more or less my summary. Oh, I think I got speed ups to do. Speed ups as well. So before and after speed ups, I would say I used 600 because fighting took like a week. So I probably got like speed ups from like events and bundles. So I'd say I used 600 days of speed ups to get this amount of kill points, which is not too bad, but you know, a little underwhelming KVK. If you're curious how I did with respect to the rest of my kingdom, I am at 15 right now. And there's probably a little more fighting to go, but it's just going to be KP chasing for the most part, this KVK. This is more or less final. You can see it says I gained 1.4 billion. This has not been updated for like 2 or 3 days, I think. So it's not bad. Deads, obviously, I could work a little harder on. Let's look at deads. I'm a little ashamed how the few deads I took this KVK. But you should also remember that I migrated recently from 2268. So I played a KVK there, and then I immediately migrated to this kingdom. So think of it like this. I took deads in that KVK, and then I took deads in this KVK. So I dropped enough power. Let's leave it at that. I dropped enough power for one KVK in those 2 KVKs, if that makes sense. And in general, I'm never like that high power. My highest power is like 83 million. So as long as I keep my power low, I think it's relatively okay. Probably next KVK, I'll drop more. But I like to hover around the 80 million range in power wise. That's just like my preferred range to like be. So yeah, that's where I'm at in terms of my kingdom. So top KP is the Arvex account, Warthog, 4 billion. And you can see the rest of the players. It was not very fun KVK for us. So I can understand why a lot of people are frustrated in my kingdom. But yeah, that's how it's looking overall. What I got at the bottom. Okay, so now I wanted to give you guys some general tips after playing this KVK. Some are some things I've said before, and some are going to be some new things. But after playing this KVK, it made me realize that these things are some that you might not hear that often. So the first one I stress probably every time I make a stream. Make March speed your top priority. When I say make March speed your top priority, I mean obviously to like probably balance out your marches, March speed wise. So I showed in my last video also that I made my Zug boots to awaken 5. This gives me an extra 10% March speed. I even run a crit flag, and I even adjusted my talents, so I got additional 6% March speed. So when I say March speed is very important, I mean you will need March speed if you want to get around the map, especially in this KVK. This zone was huge. There was so much walking to do in the zone that you realize how important March speed is when you need to walk like miles through this KVK. So March speed ultimately does help you get more kill points. When it comes to like awakening the boots, I think this is like, I wouldn't say it's high priority, but it is a very important thing you want to build toward. Obviously the highest priority is to get as many marches set up with like as much gold gear as possible. But these boots I feel like make a very big difference for free to play. Also the fact that you don't have good crystal tech, which gives you as free to play you have to prioritize certain things. So you can see my Swift Marching 3 is still at 7. Preferably I want it at 10, but you know, free to play you have to work with what you got. So make March speed your top priority whenever possible. You don't want to be left behind on the field. That's one thing I think is very important. Second, obviously, is to see if we can get that. Play how you're comfortable. So when I say play how you're comfortable, people thought I would play this KVK in dot mode. I will let you know I played almost the entire KVK zoomed in, and I had no problem playing zoomed in. I streamed my past 7 day 1, past 7 day 2, and my Kingsland opening day 1. I streamed 3. I played the whole KVK zoomed in. The only time I played dot mode was when I was with my allies in 2489 and 1960. Dot mode is easier to see the yellow dots, your allies, so you don't hit them. But I played exclusively this whole KVK zoomed in. I don't think it's bad to play dot mode. I just say play how you're comfortable. You don't have to adjust your playstyle to play like me or anything. It won't help you be better. Really just play how you want to play. And yeah, that's one thing. Next is, let me try to get this. If you start lagging, oh my god. If you start lagging, I would recommend just logging off. So when I say lagging, let me show you what I mean. So you can see here, I deploy a march, right? So I deploy a march. I'm on the front lines. I deploy a march. Watch how long it takes to get the march. I deployed the march. Where's the march? Still don't have the march. March is with still waiting for the March. There's the March. You see the lag? That's how it is in Imperium KVKs. Like when there's so many players on the field, the system cannot handle it, and it just lags. So yeah, I traded really bad when I was lagging. So I don't recommend playing when there's really bad lag. You won't see this that often in lower seed, but Imperium and AC KVKs, if you start lagging, honestly, just log off. My trades were awful when I was lagging, and I regret playing while I was lagging. I maybe Wales can do it because they just 7 March and send it, but for free to play in low spenders, if you start lagging, your trades are going to be really, really rough. That's all I'm going to say. Even for someone like me who micros my marches really well, it's not worth it. And lastly, if you can't field well, and I'm not talking about the lag, if you can't field well, like maybe you're not as good microing your marches, watch some people that can field well and try to adjust your playstyle to like match theirs. The most important thing you have to do when like you field fight is obviously to hit the closest march and then retreat in the ball. It's a little hard to demonstrate while I'm lagging, but you obviously want to hit the closest march. You can always see I'm like targeting the march at the front. And once you're targeted, you just immediately run back into the ball. This is probably a bad demonstration because of how badly I'm lagging. You can see the marches go all over the place. But generally how you want to play is you just hit the closest march outside of the enemy ball, and then you run back into your ball when you get targeted. That's all I do. I just repeat that process over and over again, and that's how you get kill points. There are many good like content creators who field fight, maybe not as well as me, but I would say just try to watch different people, get a sense of like how to field fight well, micro your marches. Everyone has a different play style, obviously, but I know a lot of people in this game are not good at field fighting, and you probably need more practice. So I would just say, if you like how I fight, I just say watch me, watch my past streams. I had at least 3 or 4 days where I streamed my fighting. Try to watch other people that can field well, and then try to adjust your play style based on how they play. Try to make it look like, not look like, but like emulate them, their play style a little bit. And yeah, I think this KVK was a little brutal when we faced 1180 on the field. Honestly, past 7 opening, day 1, they sad faced us for like 2 or 3 hours straight. So this KVK was interesting, but it's definitely slowed down a lot in Kingsland. So yeah, these are some general tips I have. And yeah, that's all I got for this sort of like KVK update on my part. And until next time then.